Now to show you what I discussed with you in the previous videos in terms of how to present data in quantitative or qualitative, categorical, not categorical, and how to visualize some of them. To maybe you want to show bar chart or pie chart or maybe a pivot table. So imagine that we have this transactional data. This transaction data has almost close to 10,000, a little bit less than 10,000 records. But you can see this file. Let us go through some of the fields very quick. As usual, we have this data set put in a standard format where the columns represent fields or variables. It depends. Mostly they are categorical variables here. And each row represents transaction or a certain order, or even sometimes multiple order like this one. You can see the first two rows, there are two order, have the same ID, which obviously means that there is a customer. If you look here, the customer, Claire, has bought two products on that day and shipped on the same day here, also the same day here, definitely 3 days after, but on the same day. The shipment mode, it's a kind of second class. There might be multiple ways like standard class. This is the customer ID. When the customer starts buying from this company for the first time, they get customer ID. They can put their name. Whether this customer is a consumer B2C or maybe B2B, there is a corporate as well. Where this customer located in a country, obviously all data coming from United States, so we cannot really expect more companies here. But within United States, there are a lot of cities that under certain states, and there is a postal code for the city, the region, south or west, or maybe north or central. The product that Claire bought has an ID, has a category, furniture, has even subcategories. It's called bookcases here. And the product name that Claire bought, it was this name, the Bush Summers Collection, Summers Collection book case. Okay, Summers, yeah, this is what they call it. And this is another name of the second product. Remember, Claire bought two products. Both are furniture now. One is the chair subcategory, the other one is book case, and this is the name of the chairs. She bought three out of these chairs and two from bookcases, and the sales for all of probably the two items, $261, and here $731, and there was no discount. Maybe Claire is not happy, but the profit that we as a company made from Claire when we sold her these bookcases, we made around $42. But when it comes to chair, we made even markup higher here, $220 approximately. So you can see some of the profit will be negative because it looks like we lost some money here. I don't know, maybe it's because we had to sell that on discounted values, maybe. Or yeah, you look here, 45% probably. That's why we lost money, and so on and so forth. So you cannot really look at each one here separately. One of the data analysis perspective is to make kind of summary. So let me go to this column here. You can see all this column, the yellowish one, the all categorical data as we discussed. Some of them, they are basically mostly nominal data. They are not ordinal data. But when it comes to this last four columns, let me color them differently to give you the impression that they are a bit different in terms of data type. They are basically quantitative, sales in dollars, quantity, numbers, discount, percentage, and profit is dollars. So now you can see we have two types of data here, numerical, and all other variables are categorical data and even more nominal. So when you get data like that, if let me go ahead and double click here on this. Yeah, I hope in Excel you feel comfortable to deal with the basic shortcut of Excel. If I click on the bottom of this cell, double click, I go to the bottom of the data set, you can see it ends up by 9,999 and 5 rows, which means they are 99 and 90, 99, 994 transactions. So I'm gonna go up there by look here and click, double click on the bottom of this cell to go up again. So we might really, again, you need to have questions before making any analysis. So I prepared some of the questions. One of the very important question, you can say, what is the total sales so far in a certain period of time? So imagine that we collected this close to 10,000 transaction during a certain period of time. So the question is how much sales we did. Of course, you might really ask other questions. How much quantity we sold in order to check our inventory, what's the average discount we gave maybe, and what would be the total profit so far in this period of time. So you can do every single thing here, but I'm going only to focus in this video only on sales, but you can replicate what I'm doing here on each of these columns according to some criteria and questions. So the total sales is easy. You can use the function sum in Excel. I'm going to show you that. But what would happen if you want really to segment this sales according to the segment? Let us see the segment. You can see the column segment here. We have multiple segments. There are consumer, there are corporate, and more, and home office, and I don't know, maybe there are more. So we need to figure out how many segments we have. There are multiple ways in Excel to do that by turning this data set into table and to filter. Then the first row will always be like a drop down list where you can know exactly what are the categories for each of these values. But I will not do that here. I'm going to show you something else in Excel in order to enhance your skills in Excel. So not only the segment, but also I want to see the sales per product category. So we have product category, we have product subcategory, and we have region, we have also state. So I'm going to answer all these questions different ways by fixing the sales here, but you can do the same thing, and this is what I recommend to you. After you finish watching this video, try to replicate what I have done here by changing, let us say, take the profit, okay, and so on. So let us try to take this to another sheet because I want to make it different. But first, let me answer the first one here by saying, okay, this is the total sales. I'm going to write here total sales, and here the function is called sum function, and the row is R. So I can easily select the R here and close the brackets and enter. So let me even format it by selecting this button. If you want, you can get rid of the decimal point by clicking twice here. So this is 2 millions. If you want in dollars, I can put it also in dollars and also do it like that. It's very simple. It's a 2,297 and thousands and 201 dollars in this period of time. But we want these values to be segmented according to the segments. So how many segments we have? Let us see segment first. How many segments? So there is a function in order to know the segments. I call them unique function. I can go for unique function in Excel and to know how many segments we have. So if I go scroll to the left to see the column that has segment, so I scroll until I find here in column H. So I select the first one, and then instead of dragging one by one, you can select shift control. If you push shift control and you push the arrow down, you will select all data like this one, okay? Shift control arrow down the same time, you're gonna go down to this level. So that means we selected all data. So then I close the brackets and then I push the enter. I get the segment. Yeah, we have only 3 segments, consumer segment, corporate segment, and home segment. So, but they are the total sales here. So actually, I didn't answer the second question yet. I want to know the sales here. So here sales, let me say another one, sales per segment. Let us do it like this. So then I need to have some dollars here as a total. So there are multiple ways in Excel to do this. I like one's called basically sum ifs. So there is a sum if functions. It tells me sum if here, and I push here S. You can put S. There is two functions, sum if or sum ifs. So if we are using only one criteria, then by saying, okay, I need the summation of column R giving the segment equals consumer. So I can do this by saying that this is the range that I want to sum. So it will be R here, and then it tells me what's the criteria. Yeah, the criteria that it was in column H, like this one, because I remember, if you remember, H was the segment, and I want it to be equals, so and this in equals, it should be, okay, let me see the criteria. Yeah, the criteria should be equals to what? Equal to the consumer here, right? So probably it will not work for that reason. Why? Because Excel in this sum ifs, I'm gonna put it here up here to show you how to do it. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna write here like something equals here, the ampersand, and then put this equals here, and another ampersand to make sure, yeah, the criteria of what we need to sum here. Yeah, probably it will not be working, so I'm gonna really use the S here because it gives me more interesting result here. It's easier. So basically, the what ifs, it's better. It will tell you why, because the sum if only, you have to get the criteria from within same column. But if you want to have criteria from another column, like the segment equal consumer or the segment equal corporate, use sum ifs here. So the sum range is R again, but the criteria is, let us see the criteria, more of this, criteria range is H, right? And what do you want from A? Then it's, if you look at it here, the next one is criteria one. So criteria range is H, and the criteria that you want to equate is X2 here, right? So I'm gonna put X2 here, and then close the bracket, and basically push the enter. So you get, actually, let me take the same format, here and make it here in order to make sure. So in terms of consumer, out of 2 million something, we get from the consumer around 1 million in this case. So if you want, you can also drag this down here, then you get the summation for each of this segment, the amount here. So of course we can easily take these two columns, and now I can go ahead and insert, go to a bar chart here and choose this one, right? So I choose the bar chart here, or also I can choose maybe pie chart. So let's see how I'm gonna do this. Let me see here. So let me make it smaller here. Let me take this out. And let me also add some numbers. So I go here to dates, so it's even better. Yeah, you can always change the format here by selecting the label, go to home here, and make it bigger a little bit if you want. You can also make it bold, even if you want really to make it an interesting color. Instead of this color, you might make it something like this. Let us make it exactly the same here. If you want even to change the color here to make it similar to what you have been doing here, you can, yeah, select one of the bar and Control 1, that's a shortcut, will take you to the possible format here. So go ahead here. Yeah, this needs to be out from my site. So let me do it like this. So I go to fill here and I say solid fill, and maybe I can select any color here. Let me take this color. It looks okay so far. So of course you can change the title, but today is not an Excel class. It's about this number. So even if you don't need this, because it's really not really interesting to have it, because you have the number here already, so you can have more space and then you can allocate this graph somewhere, right? So it looks very interesting to visualize your data like this one, right? So let me put it here. Of course you can use your data to make it even pie chart, which could be interesting. Why? Because basically in order to calculate the percentage, I have to come here and divide this value by the total amount here and turn them into percentage. So I can say here sales percentage, but I have to do it one by one, right? Sales percentage. And I have, if I want to drag this, I can't, because the W2 has to be fixed. So I have to select the W2, and on my computer keyboard, I'm going to use the function F2, F4. F4 is going to put the dollar sign around the column W and dollar sign before the column 2. So it means telling Excel, when I drag it down, Excel, don't change the cell. So then I'm going to use this down here. Then I get the percentage. Now I can even draw the percentage here by simply making very interesting thing here. I can put this here, and after I select this value that has absolute value, I can make it Control D to replicate it. So I put it here beside, and now if you go to the left hand side, see when I click on here, it selects the data consumer as they are, because they will be the horizontal axis. But look at this. If I select this second chart, and you see this is already marked to tell us Excel tells us, hey, I am drawing this. All what I need to do is to drag this here. You get percentage. So this is the percentage. And if you don't like the gap is very high here, you can really select this horizontal line, go to this bucket here, and go to the axis options, or here as well, and there will be a sort of gap. So let me do it again here. So you can see here the properties, or even if you want, you can also the size, you change the size, and you change the size of the gap between these two here. So I'm going to show you the gap, how to change the gap later on, but let us see first how to turn this into pie chart. So you can see, in order to have percentage, you have to either to put it in two different graphs. But look at the pie chart. If I come here, take this 2, and now insert, go to one here, you see pie chart, take the first one. Okay, I'm not going to change the color because it will be time consuming now, but imagine this is the bar chart. You can also, let me scroll a little bit more here. And now I can see that I can put some numbers as well. Yeah, let us put the numbers in the center. I can do that, and even make the color a little bit clearer, so maybe white, and bold as well, make it bigger. But in this case, you need to make it a little bit bigger instead of, yeah, maybe it's not a good idea, not the best way, because we lost a couple of the legend here because we took the color here differently. But this is a different story of formatting, which is not the focus today. But what I want to show you is, if you go to this plus button here, go to the table here, and you have a little arrow here. If you click it again, you're going to get more options down here. And in more options, you can see that options tell us, hey, if you want, I can show you not only the value, but I can show you the percentage. It's here. You can check the box here and remove this. You get somehow similar result of what we calculated here. So this is the, as I told you before, this could be the advantage of having pie chart, because pie chart calculated easier for us. Of course, if you change some of the points here in terms of the rounding up or rounding down, you get accurate numbers. So this is, I'm not going to do it for everything I'm going to do, but now I showed you how to present it in bar chart vertical or bar chart or pie chart, percentage or absolute. But what if I want this to be, as I told you, since the categories are not really ordinal but nominal, so why not to put them in a different format? However, you can see they already ordered, so we don't need to do any order. But imagine this was not ordered, then the best way is to present them in a vertical, in horizontal way. So in horizontal way, I can go ahead here and go to the chart design. And in chart design, you're going to see some of the other options, like select, let me remove my face here. Let me put it here. I can change the chart type, so I can get multiple ways to do it. So I don't want it aligned. You can if you want. This will be the shape. This is the column. This is the original one, but I can even put it a pie. Okay, the color is not really the best, but I can do it even bar chart horizontal like this one. You see here? Then I'm going to choose this one and okay. So now it became horizontal, but what would happen if you want the highest one on the top? As I told you, all what you need to do is basically select these categories and control one. Then by control one, you're going to see something interesting here. If you go down here, there is a little checkbox here called categories in reverse order. When I check it, you will get, check it here, you get an interesting way here. So if you select even this one, now I will show you how to change the gap among this one, because maybe the bar are a little bit thin. If you want to make it thicker to be more representative, you select one of these bar, make sure that all of them, they are already selected, and then control one, again control one. You're going to get here's the width of an overlap. You see the overlap and the gap width. If I make it smaller, look what's happened now. So you can make the numbers here, and if you want, you can put this number even inside here to gain more space if you want. So in this case, I can really put the numbers here. Let me see here, the number here, it's a label inside at the end, you see here. And not only that, I want them to be maybe in different colors. So I'm gonna go ahead here, home, and change them here and see this. So you see, it's basically in order to make it a little bit better, because it was too big or small for this. So you can see it's a very nice and neat way to represent your data. It's very simple. There is no many lines. It focuses on the message that you want to convey to your people, so and so on and so forth. The same for every visual you do. You have to be very careful to be very minimalist when it comes to data like this. Okay, so basically it's very clear that we managed to segment our data and then take the total sales. Okay, what if we want now to do the same for product? Very simple, right? So I'm going to write now product, or let us say product here, product category. So let us say category. And in category, I'm going to do the same thing here, but instead of H, let us see the categories are, where are the categories of the product is in a column O. So you can write it again, but I would suggest that you do the following. You take here, and then Control A, Control copy, escape, go down here, and then take it as it is. If you push OK here, you're going to get the same category of the segment, but we don't want the segment. We know the segment are in the category in column O. So all what you need to do is to change this into O, and you get then categories. Yeah, we have still 3. They could have been before. So we can do the same thing now. If you want, I can take this as well, Control A, and then I go here, Control V. No, it didn't come with me, so I need to take it again. So I'm gonna select it first, Control Copy, and then I come here, and then I remove this and put this one. Again, but remember, this is actually the condition is H, but now the condition is O, right? So I'm gonna take O here instead of column H, O, because O is the category. And X2, of course, it should be not X2, it should be AB here, right? So all what you need to do, you can easily drag this into the right location and then enter. You get the sales for per, let us see, this sales per category. So I'm gonna select here segment and put category, product category, of course, and then make it bigger here. Okay, so now let me take the same format to make it easier to read them. So this is the amount. Now I can easily drag them down here. You get here. Of course, if you want to make sure that you are calculating correct, why not to calculate the sum of this value to make sure that we have the same number here. Okay, take this and see if we take the same. Yeah, again, and the sum of the AC here also this value. So let me make them in a different color to write, just to make sure that they are connected and we have the same number. Of course, you can draw them. I don't want to draw them because you know how to draw them. It's easy, to be honest now, so I'm not going to waste your time for that. But now if we want this for subcategories, so but in this case I need really to take this down here because I'm assuming that the subcategory will be bigger than that. So I'm gonna write here subcategories, subcategories. So basically we need to do the same thing, but let us go ahead and see where the subcategories are in column P. So it's easy here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take this as well, go here, you can see it again here, go here, Control A and Control Copy, which is C, and then I come here and just paste it. Again, this is the wrong one. Remember, it's in P, so I have to come here back and put here the letter P instead of O, and then you get all categories, right? So of course, if you want these categories to be sorted, there is another nice trick by writing here to wrap this unique function inside a sort function or formula. Put sort and don't forget to close it at the end with another bracket. Then your here are sorted alphabetically. Accessories, appliances, art, and so on and so forth. Let us see what else we have until the end. The tables is the last one. Of course, we can draw that by saying, okay, this is the sales, Control A, Control Copy, put them here, Control V, but here I'm gonna call sales per subcategory, right? So now it's almost close to answer this question as well. So now we'll be able to answer all these 4 questions. Now let me do it here by saying, okay, I want to calculate the function. Let me write it again just for you guys to see how I'm going to do this. I'm going to use equal sum if with S, and then I know what I want to sum. I'm going to go back here. I want to sum the sales, column R, comma, with the criteria. What's the criteria? The criteria that the column P equals the subcategory that I have here. When I go back here, I'm gonna select this one and then basically close the bracket and just enter. So now you can see we got the sales for accessories. If you want to know the sales for each one, we can drag it down. But before doing this, let me take one of these guys as a format and just formatted. Now I can double click, and now we have basically the sales for each subcategories of our data. Now it makes sense to draw this part. Let us take this part here and draw it. What do you think? Should I look at the pie chart? I will tell you why. I told you if you have a large number of categories, pie chart will be really not representative. Let me show you. See what's this? Doesn't make any sense. Even it's very, very not, it's not professional. So basically I'm gonna take it out, and I'm gonna insert bar chart, but horizontal, because as I told you, this is the best way. Of course you want to sort them, right? So why not to take this out? You can still sort them here, but yeah, you can have them in another sheet. You can, there is a trick here. You can basically yeah, you have to maybe click on any of these cells, or actually you select them both here. And if you want to have the, the sorting according to the number here, then you need to select both of them and go to data here, and you see here it's a selection, right? If you do this, it's not going to change because it doesn't know. So the best way is to select sort, and in sort is going to ask you what do you want, to sort by subcategory or by sales. Here I want sales, so I'm gonna select sales from smallest to the largest. Yeah, no, from largest to smallest, and then okay. You cannot change part of the array. Because you know the problem is this sort unique, I have to change. So there is another trick, or what I'm gonna do, to be honest here, I'm gonna take this one here. Let me make another trick here. I'm gonna insert another one here, empty. It's actually, it will be the mirror here, but without any function. What is that? That means I'm gonna take this, control copy, and when I paste them as values. So values. So no function here anymore. So when I go now here, it's not connected anymore to the column AD. Now if I do the same, sort, and now I select sales per subcategories, and from largest to smallest, then I get the data already selected here. So that means the phones are the highest, but they are not connected here because this chart is actually still putting data in a different way. So I need to select the data here. In this case, this has to be, I need to take this here. So this needs to be changing because I am now highlighting on this one, which is not the correct one. I need to highlight on this one. So the best way is not to take this because it's not easy to change it, but the easiest way is to take them again here and add, insert, bar, horizontal. Now you can see it. It's not yet sorted, right? It's not really sorted. For some reason, Excel doesn't want to sort it in a way that we want. So we need to tell Excel to sort the data because it's not, right? It's 167 here, or it's not sorted. Oh, it's not even sorted here. You see, Excel did something very strange. Didn't sort the data already because the highest is still down here. Okay, let me see. Maybe I didn't do it correctly. I go back here, and now data, and now sort. Yeah, subcategories, sales, sort on, no, order from largest or to smaller, or from smaller to large, and see what's happening here. Oh, Excel doesn't sort the data. Might be very strange. Let me do something here. Let me take this, control copy. Let me make another things here, control. Oh, look at this. Excel's changing something very strange here. Okay, let me fix it. You know why? Because I'm still taking the wrong one. I should have. Okay, now I know what the mistake I did. Okay, so what I need to do is I take this, control copy, put them here, as I said, sort it. And now I need also to put this accessories. No. You know what? I'm gonna do it again. Here, this is the one. Yeah, we do this. Now I want this now, and enter, and double click. Okay, now it looks like I'm taking my data from accessories, and I take the data right from R and P and so on. So nothing wrong here. So let me now do the following. Sort them again. Let's see. Because now it's taking from here. Because usually, previously I was taking from the wrong cell. So I'm going to sort the data again here from maximum. Okay, yeah, finally it works now. You see even that the graph became correct. Yeah, I made mistake because I was taking some cells that I shouldn't take them. Okay, so now obviously I can take this out. Let us make some very nice format here. I don't like that the biggest one is on the bottom. I want it up there. So Excel is helpful here. I'm gonna select this, the labels here, and Control 1. And again, there is a magic button here. I'm gonna select it. I get the highest here. Not only that, I wanted really to put some numbers because we want to know how much sales. Of course, we can do that by clicking on the plus, and here the data table, data labels. Of course, you can make it even more attractive for anyone. So basically, we have here interesting way to show you how to represent data in different format. Okay, so the exercise that you need to do is to replicate what I have done here with this other questions. For instance, uh, uh, per region, sales per region, sales per state. So basically, because I'm going to share this file with you guys on the LMS, so you can really play with it and you can see all my functions, and then you can replicate it by doing the same thing but for the region and state. So basically it's a very easy task for you guys, but if you want, let me take all graphs a little bit far from here to make it easier for you if you want to navigate and see everything, single thing here. Okay, so you will always know how we link each graph to the data. So once you click on the graph, you know which data we are looking at. You can also go back here and put these questions that you need to look at them as exercise for you, and then try to replicate exactly what I have done in order to get the best of that. So this is so far one of the videos, the last video of today. So I hope you enjoyed it, and take care.